Price on this thing is $93,000. All right, so I want you to check this out. Full row of trucks, full row of trucks. Turn around behind me, another full row of trucks. And over here, more trucks. And this is a storage lot. So I just want you to look at all these vehicles that are sitting behind me. And one thing that I want you to really think about is, okay, we just had GM, Ford, and Stellantis all put up what looked like pretty good quarters.
Strong numbers from Ford. They beat by a wide margin. Take a look at shares of General Motors moving up substantially.
On paper at least, but we have this disconnect between dealership and manufacturer. I get the question all the time. Well, Brandon, you're talking about dealerships are struggling, and we're hearing actual GMs and dealership owners come on other YouTube channels and say, okay, well, we've had a very, very slow last few months. You're hearing used car dealers, just like myself, talk about how rough the car market has been. How can this be when Ford, GM, Stellantis, they're all saying, okay, they're hitting big numbers. Last quarter, we had record sales out of Ford. How can this happen? And here's the thing. Manufacturers and dealerships are not the same thing. See, who is the customer for a manufacturer? It's not me and you. We don't contribute to their record sales. It's these dealerships. And look behind me right here. And since we're right here, I do want to look at the price of some of these Gladiators. There's so many of these things. It blows me away. It's been a long time since I've seen this many Gladiators in one spot. What do we like? I like black. I don't know which one. It's probably Rubicon. Yep, Rubicon. So let's see this one. 2025 Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $58,000. And I would assume most of the other ones are right around that same price. Actually, this one's $64,000. This is a Rubicon X. So I've been to this dealership quite a bit, and it's been a very long time since I've been to this particular dealership, and they've had this many vehicles actually sitting on their lot. So here's what's happened. It's called channel stuffing. If you don't know what that is, that means that these manufacturers are pushing as much inventory to these dealerships as possible. They're able to count these things as sales. And even when the dealerships aren't doing very well, they're still pushing inventory to them. Even when dealerships don't need the inventory, it's still getting pushed to them. It's counted as a sale from the manufacturer, from Jeep, Dodge, Ram, from Ford, from GM. And the dealerships in the same quarter could sell absolutely nothing. But then a company like Ford, even though their dealership body is not selling anything, can still put up record numbers because the dealerships continue to actually take these vehicles. And these dealerships are getting put between really a rock and a hard place, because if they want actual good inventory that they can sell, let's look at Ford. It's not the case now, but back 2 years ago, if they wanted to be able to get some Mavericks that they would sell just as soon as they would get them, then they had to take all the F-150s that their distributors would give to them so they could get the more desirable inventory. That's going to be something that's very similar to right now, where from a lot of these distributors that get these vehicles to actual dealerships, if you want these high margin, very desirable products on your lot, you're going to have to take some of the less desirable things too. And I'm standing in front of these Gladiators because I want to point this out. Last year, we actually had a production cut in Gladiators because these things were not selling. Now, look what you got. That's a Gladiator right here, starts the line. And it goes just about as far as you can see down there. My bet would be that this dealership group right here, it's a dealership group that I like. I think they're managed well. I think they do a good job. I've had nothing but good things to really say about them over the last year or so. I think they've moved with the market. This dealership group, I would almost bet they don't want another Gladiator, but if they want some of the maybe more desirable Wranglers, maybe some of the more desirable whatever in Stellantis speak that is, then they're going to have to take as many Gladiators as Jeep wants to send them. But they probably don't want it anymore. And you can see, absolutely insane. And this whole line right here is the Grand Cherokee. I want to check this one right here. I like the silver. Let's step back too. Look at the color choices. Black, silver, white. Yep, that's all you're getting. All right, let's check it. See, Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4, base price $46,000. $54,835 when everything's said and done. And this is going to be your average family vehicle that you're going to get from Jeep if you're coming in here, because I mean this is the size vehicle that a family is going to be looking for. And what are you seeing? You're seeing you're seeing $60,000. That's your choice here at Jeep. All right, so I want you to check this out over here. We have this storage lot that is absolutely full with trucks. And I want to point this out because I come to this dealership quite often. I actually like this dealership group. And I like to keep track of the inventory that they actually have. And a few months ago, we had lots of empty spaces sitting out here in this storage lot. But what I had kind of figured, since we had these manufacturers putting up the kind of numbers that they have been putting up, is that, okay, now we're going to get to the point where these dealerships are going to start getting overrun again with vehicles. And check this out, look behind me. What do you see? On a storage lot, there's not one empty spot. When you have dealerships that look like this, but you're putting up the kind of numbers from the manufacturer that they are putting up, well, there's a big disconnect there, right? Because it's not going to be that manufacturers put up great numbers. And this is the disconnect that I talked about earlier, where you have these dealerships that are absolutely overrun, but from the manufacturer side, it looks like everyone's just doing great, right? And I did want to check out one of these Ram 3500s turbo diesel. Here we go. It's the 3500 Laramie Night Mega Cab 4x4. Price on this thing is $93,000. And I go through here, is all 1500s, I believe, but let's check one out. This is the Bighorn edition right here. This one is, 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4. Base price is $52,000, but once you add all the accessories and your destination charge, whoo, but it's $62,770. So yeah, there it is. Destination charge, $2,195. So here's the thing. Over the last 6 months, we've actually had Ford, GM, Stellantis, well, Ram in this case, actually increase their destination fees on these trucks by $600. So if the destination fee was somewhere around $1,500, they increase it by $600. Well, that's an increase of about 35 to what, 40%, right at 35%, if my math is right. Here's the thing: over the last 6 months, you haven't had a 35% increase in gas or labor that's going to be associated with actually transporting these cars. And it's a way for these manufacturers to actually bake in more margin to their vehicles, because it comes on every single one of these trucks. And it doesn't matter if from manufacturer to dealership, if it's 5 miles or if it's 500 miles, every one of these vehicles is charged the exact same amount of destination fee, and it's a destination fee that you have to pay as a consumer. And about 10 years ago, this destination fee was 50% of what it is right now. So this is just another way where, okay, manufacturers can actually sell fewer vehicles than what they were selling in 2018 and 2019, but still be making way more money because their margins, everything that's associated with the purchase of these trucks, with these vehicles, they're making so much more money, and they're finding other ways to continue to actually increase the price for you as the consumer. And here's the thing: I've been to auto shows before, and in a lot of cases you see this awesome looking truck, and it says starting at $37,000. This is a Colorado right here. It says starting point, $29,500. Looked at all the Colorados across the country, and here we go. The cheapest one that you can find is $31,000. I just showed you, you can't find one for $29,500 across the whole country. But at the end of the day, when you go and look up the actual prices online, it ends up being a $50,000 truck. Because yeah, maybe the base price of this truck was starting out at that low amount, but they go in, they add accessories to these trucks. They go in, they add destination fees to these trucks. They add all of these things. And then when you get to dealerships, what do they want to add? Well, they're going to add dock fees. They're going to add, in some cases, still market adjustments. It's absolutely ridiculous, but you can still find them on some very, very highly desirable vehicles. You see nitrogen. You see a lot of these rip-off types of things. They want to sell you an extended warranty when they get you back in F&I. They want to sell you gap insurance. They want to sell you tons of things on these vehicles that are very, very high margin. And just the price of the vehicle is not where a lot of these manufacturers, a lot of these dealers are actually making their money. You have to look into the line items. A lot of that stuff, very, very high margin. And look behind me right here. A lot of these vehicles, they're all commercial vehicles. Most of the dealerships that I actually go to, they have a lot of these type of vehicles, the box trucks, the cargo vans. You'll have, when I go to Ford, they have a bunch of F-150s that are just white, base model, XLs. Well, what's happening right now is that the commercial side of things on a lot of these manufacturers are actually keeping them afloat. And the good example that I like to use is Ford, because Ford, their commercial side is massive part of their business. But here's the thing, for that to succeed, you have to have an economy that's ripping. And what we've had over the last few years is that we've had a lot of businesses put a lot of money into their business, and we had a situation where 3 years ago, a lot of these businesses also could not get the types of vehicles that they need to because of all the shortages, chip shortage. We won't go into all of that, but you know exactly what I'm saying. Production was not there to get a lot of businesses these fleet vehicles that they needed, and they need them year after year after year. So what happened? Well, they pushed their fleets a lot longer, and now they're to the point where, okay, the fleets that they needed, they're now available, so they can go and actually buy them. You see them right here. You can go to any dealership. You'll see on the back lot, whatever, there are lots of fleet vehicles, especially on the Ford side. But there's two things that could really hurt this business model for these manufacturers. One, just like I said, we had a lot of pause in buying because the production just wasn't there. These manufacturers weren't able to get these trucks, these fleet vehicles to the actual businesses, so they held on, and now they've bought through all this time. A lot of the accordion, sell delayed in this case. Now that a lot of them have bought what they've needed, so now there's going to go another 2 or 3 years where they don't actually need these commercial vehicles. And then 2, we could have wrinkles in the economy, and that will force businesses to tighten up. I know in my personal business, I have a used car dealership. Sell cars are $5,000 and under. Yes, my business is not the whole economy, but we've been a lot slower over the last 6 months. So what has that made us do? It made us look at our actual expenses, see if there's anything that we can cut. And we're definitely not expanding when we're uncertain about what's coming in the economy, what's coming in our business. And I would assume you have a lot of other businesses just like ours right now that are looking at their expenses. Even if they are making good money, they're like, okay, well, there's still a lot of uncertain things. We've got a lot of political things that are going on right now. We have a lot of uncertainty in the economy about people actually spending their money. And when you have business owners that are looking at their books and thinking these kind of things, they're not trying to expand. They're not trying to go and buy a lot of new fleet vehicles for their business. They're going to tighten up, and this could be a big problem for a lot of these manufacturers that we haven't seen yet. And those are 2 wrinkles right now that could be concerning in the near future, in the next few quarters for a lot of these manufacturers.